tarantulas creeping through the stream. Now the pulse matches the dream. Spiders crawl.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 10.
Yay.
Hi guys, thank you so much for hopping on. But real quick, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone in the comments for sticking in. So let's make this a big one, right? Okay, so we have a really fun one for tonight. It's couples night. So for the first time ever, we're going to talk about stuff that I don't know about. Well, maybe I do, or maybe I don't, and other people might not. But so everyone, please welcome Dom and Liv from 8-Legged Hugs. Yay!
What's up, y'all?
How are you guys tonight?
We're hanging in there. It's been a
pretty
day.
good.
Hold
How
on.
about you?
Good.
My volume. I don't know why it's okay. Good. All right. Hi, everybody in the comments. I'm doing great. Thank you for being here tonight. It's going to be a fun one. So, let me get into the comments. Sorry, I'm a little.
Hey, Will.
Hey, Will, what's up, man?
Yeah, let's get to the comments first, because I always promise that I'm going to say hi to everyone. So let's do that first. Oh, we got 8-Legged Hugs in the. I wonder who that is. Who's 8-Legged Hugs? Oh, oh gosh. Who else is in here? Wow, there's faces that I don't know. So those are probably your fans, right? Nice.
Fans.
So
I
those are your
see
supporters.
Will. I see Chris. What's up, Chris? House of Peculiar Pets.
Oh yes, hello. That's my hubby. Hello.
Spooky Spoods.
Yes. Oh, hi.
What's up, y'all?
Hi. Spooky Spoods. What's
Uh-oh.
up, girl? All right. So everyone is here in the chat. Hi, Chris. And let's get to it. So, oh, I forgot to turn on my thing. Anyways, so as in the hobby, there's always a great support system, whether you're by yourself, single, married, in a relationship, whatever. But there's always that one question. Is this my significant other going to approve or like what I do? Oh, did you guys freeze, or is it me on my side on my camera? I don't know if they froze. Hold on, let me check here. 1 second. One momento. Yep. Dom and Liv, if you guys can hear me, just hop right out and come right back in. No problem. So they probably did that. Let's see.
Are we back?
Yep, you're back.
All right.
Back in action.
Yep, I was just checking. Okay, good. What was the last thing I said, if you guys remember?
It
You
was
said,
cutting in and out. Yeah. It was cutting in and out.
Yeah?
I don't even
Okay.
remember.
Can you hear me now, though?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, let's get this. Okay.
Get it.
So everyone needs a support system, right? So I watch your videos and I'm like, Liv cracks me up.
She did good.
Like the way she supports you and the way you support him, like it's just, I love it, because you hardly don't see that, where actually you do see that, where like as a married couple, there's that one person who has either reptiles or other arachnids or whatever the case may be, and then you have your spouse that may not be into it.
Mm-hmm.
So like my first question,
Tolerates it.
huh?
That tolerates it.
Yes. So my first question is, how have this journey been from the beginning, from the get-go?
Do you want to start?
I'll let you answer that.
For me, it's been awesome, but it has been stressful because every time I bring a new animal into this house, it's risking divorce. And I don't want to be divorced. So, yeah, it started with 2. We had to rehome our dog. He's with a really nice lady. He's a service dog. He was a big standard poodle. I guess some people call them king poodles. It's not a real thing. He's a really big standard poodle. He's like 80 pounds. Beautiful, beautiful dog.
Really
Super
nice
smart.
dog.
But you know, we don't have time to give to a dog the way we'd like to, and definitely not space. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment right now. Hopefully that'll change soon, but we just had to make the executive decision. So I had a big hole I was trying to fill, and we have 2 cats that are mangy, just raggedy cats, and they weren't doing it. So I was like, what's like the smallest pet I can find that Olivia won't find and I can get away with keeping and it will be somewhat interesting. So I looked up tarantulas. I started getting into Tarantula Collective and what's up, Erica? So I get into Tarantula Collective. I already knew about Tom Moran and Dave's Little Beasties. Love Dave. Love Tom Moran.
Yeah.
And then I started educating myself more, and I landed on Choco Goldeny. So I just looked up on Google, buy Choco Goldeny, and Fear Not popped up. Put in the order, and then they canceled my order, and I was like, what the heck, man? That's what I get for trying to order an animal online. And they're like, you're too close, just come get it. And I was like, huh? I'm too what now? So I go in there, and I'm just, I look around, and I see all these crazy spiders and, like, the stuff that, like, you only see on Animal Planet. And I like that. I was like super interested, but I was also a little scared, you know, because it's a giant spider. Never been afraid of bugs or spiders, but giant spiders.
Yeah.
So I bring home these 2 teeny tiny little 1/4-inch slings, and I leave them on a bookshelf. And it was probably like 2-3 weeks before I mentioned, hey Olivia, by the way, there's been 2 tarantulas living in the corner over there. And you know, that was a whole what? Why would you do that? Oh, and yeah. Anyway, she got over that, and then we had mealworms, so we had too many mealworms and not enough spiders eating them. So I was like, I need something to eat them. So I'm like, what's just a pet mouth? So I thought about a Pac-Man frog, right? Sensible, small little Pac-Man frog. What's the harm? I asked Olivia, and what did you say, Olivia?
No.
No. No.
And what was your reasoning?
Because I said so.
Right. So that immediately made me say, you know what? Yeah. So I went back to Fear Not. I got 2 more spiders, kept them in a bookshelf. She kind of saw him, kind of didn't, but long story short, she ended up finding him. It was a huge fight. And then after that, it was a Megaphobium robustum. We named him Aku, and after she kind of got over it, she was like, he's low-key pretty cool though. And was it a week later?
So actually, what actually got me into spiders was the actual community. When I researched, I was like, I can't be the only one that feels this way, or like, is it just me, or is, you know, you start off with 1 and then now you got 35, you know what I'm saying? So I started like going on Instagram, like my personal Instagram, looking up like spider communities and just like people that have this as a hobby or like a lifestyle. And I found a lot of it, and then I was like, okay, well, we can actually turn these spiders, you know, let me enjoy them too, because I'm not really big into bugs. I'm not a real big like pet person besides cats. And when I actually like held one and stuff, I was like, okay, it's literally like a
web puppy.
Like like a little dog, like a little like arachnid cat, literally. And but I really like the community. Shout out to Gems Jumper. She's the one that really got us into like the web, if that makes sense. And like I really liked jumping spiders and stuff like that. So that's really what happened. It was like in the middle of, was it winter, like January?
Yeah, we got snowed in, and then she just made an
Instagram and a TikTok.
Yeah.
And then we just started posting and stuff, and that's when I really started actually liking the hobby. It was more so of like the community and like learning from everybody, learning that they're actually not that bad, and then learning what we could do with it in the future, like the growth of it, you know, in all aspects. So I didn't like, you know, the hiding part, but I like the community and the family portion of it.
We're still working on her. She's starting to not resist or just accept. Honestly, like 30 minutes before this started, she looked over in the hallway, and I was mid-breath getting ready to tell her, hey, we got something else. And our Emperor Scorpion got fished out of his
Our
tank.
cat was fighting with the Emperor Scorpion.
Yeah. And she was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, well, speak of the devil. By the way, we just got a little Emperor Scorpion. So there he is. Yep, here he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So still a work in progress. One day she'll just I think she's almost there. You guys gotta help me get her there.
Yes, we will. Don't worry. Um, so eight-legged hugs. Who came up with that? Ah,
All of it is her. I'm just the
He did the logo though. He did the logo.
I drew the logo.
But I did like as far as like formatting our social medias, everything else I did.
Yeah.
yeah.
The whole idea, the stimulus, that was all
Yeah.
her.
So basically, Liv, you're the brains behind the
Yeah.
whole.
Yes. And I'm the most extroverted introvert that I know. You know, that's why he's more like the face. He likes to actually be out there and interact and things like that. My social battery is damn near in hell. So I just I just want to just stay behind the scenes and do like puppet master stuff behind the scenes more so than being in the front line.
Right. So you guys work as a team, basically. That
Always.
always.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, hi, Elias.
Mhm.
Saying hi to. Oh yes, I'm repping merch again from yesterday. This is Kevin from Sugar Skull Serpents. So I got
Yeah,
to rep
I
I
saw that
merch
on
was
again.
I
Instagram.
was
Yeah.
peeping at your
That's
shirt.
like
I was like, is that Kevin's? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I was peeping that. I like that design.
yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you,
Mhm.
Kevin. But okay. So you two have when you guys were first started to date, when you guys were first dating, I imagine a long time ago. Um, for you, Liv, how was it when you first found out when you were like, oh, so what do you do? And then Dom's like, well, I like these as pets. Like, what was your reaction?
So we both grew up very similar. We were never allowed to have pets growing up. Like outside of like a hamster or a bird that quickly died, you know, for whatever reason. Um, we were never that allowed to have pets. So I definitely wanted to be with somebody that liked pets. And
Oh,
right.
again.
Now I did not know it was gonna be spiders and
I didn't know it was gonna be
centipedes
spiders.
and all this other stuff, but it's okay because I grew to actually like them. Like I feel like we're all programmed to think that these creatures are scary just because they look different or they maybe have had harm to somebody, but so has dogs and
Mm-hmm.
cats and other animals. That's just a part of their nature. So when he introduced tarantulas, I was already thinking. I already had a negative
Negative
like
feedback.
connotation
Impression,
of
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But as we started getting more, and I'm like, and they're like colorful and stuff. I'm like, ooh, can I have that pink one? And then now I'm getting roped into it because of the like, ooh, pretty. I'm
Yeah.
just a girl. I'm literally just a girl. So
I'm just a girl.
yes, my first like tarantula that I got that he gifted me was a GBB, and I fell in love with it. I mean, they're so pretty and so spunky and cute, and the feeding response is unmatched.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
It's weird because I didn't even like GBBs at the time. Our local pet store has tarantulas every now and then, and we walked past it, and it was like it spoke to her. She was just like, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's a green bottle blue. I mean, it's just a spider." And then she was like, "I want it," and I was like, "You what?" It was like $300, and she was about to just throw it all away, and just it was like $300 with the cage and setup. And I think we got back in the car. We talked about it for like what was it 30 minutes sitting in the car debating
yeah,
should we go get this spider. We walk in and it's gone, like somehow, like just gone.
somebody else got
And
it
so
Oh,
we
okay.
were able to find another one. Ended up being a male
at Fear Not.
at Fear Not. Yeah.
Mhm. And
Okay.
it was significantly cheaper, like $70 or
Mhm.
something. So
Yeah.
everything happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, for those of you watching who don't know what a GBB is, it's the Chromatopelma cyanopubescens. It's a beautiful. Did you get it as a sling or already adult?
It
What
was a juvie.
I don't
The
even-
first one that we got was a juvie.
would you consider it juvie if it's still orange? It was one molt off from turning blue.
Okay, so GBBs, they're like the most easiest tarantula you can age differentiate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like a sling, they have the tiger print pattern, and they lose that print by the age of like 10 years old. So by the time they're 10 years old, that's like juvie. and then they start to get the blues and the greens. And then when they reach adulthood, that's like their full blown how you see them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
like
Well, it was a baby then, I guess. It was probably about maybe 2 inches DLS, and then he molted out, and he was blue, and he's molted one more time with us since then. I think he's actually right here.
Yeah.
I think he's in pre-molt. Maybe he took a cricket, but he's pretty fat, so he should be molting here soon. We're actually trying to get ready to do our first pairing. If not with him, one of my mentors, you know, Roy Bombasti. He's looking for. Yeah, he's looking for a mature male for us. So if you guys know any mature male GBBs out there, please let us know. But we just set up our female to get her prepped and ready. She's been tapping, so I think she's ready to go.
Yeah. So when I first experienced the tapping, so tarantulas, when they are basically in heat, they do this tapping on whatever surfaces, and that's how you can tell that they're ready. You know, they're looking for a mate or whatever. So one of my males that he actually just passed away the other night or yesterday, sorry. I first experienced him tapping on the glass, and I'm like, "What is that noise?" I'm looking and looking.
Yeah.
What is that noise? I don't hear it. And then I get closer to his enclosure, and I see him tapping. This is like first time. I was like, "Oh my god, that is so cool! I've never seen that." But, anyways, so when you haven't experienced it yet for your first pairing, Liv?
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again.
Did you first experience your first pairing yet?
No, that will be our first one.
Well, actually, jumping spiders.
That is true.
But not
they do
tarantulas.
The dance.
Yeah, not tarantulas.
Okay. So, Liv, walk me through your mental preparations that you did before, like, getting into all this with Dom.
What preparation?
Mental preparation.
She's still preparing. What you talking about?
Okay. Dude, can I be like fully transparent?
Open.
I gotta smoke before I actually, mentally prepare for that. But aside from that, he kind of just walks me through, because like Dom is really supportive when it comes to mentally preparing us for, like, hey, if they don't freak out if it runs, or hey, don't freak out if you see this. I was like, okay, cool, like I won't freak out or anything, but I end up still freaking out. So it's more. So it's like,
yeah, nicotine can only do but so much.
Yeah, it can only do but so much. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, it's more so just like letting him lead the way, and I'm just the camera person in the background. I got the escape.
She's the.
And did you ever imagine? Wait, this goes both ways. So, did you ever imagine you would become each other's supportive system, crazy enough to be in this hobby?
Never ever. So I don't know, the premise of having a significant other that was into animals at all was something that never crossed my mind, I guess. And kind of like she said, growing up, my dad, he was really into animals. Like, the reason I love animals is because of my dad. He I grew up watching Animal Planet, The Most Extreme, Jeff Corwin, Crocodile Hunter, like all about animals. When other kids would want video games, which I didn't want video games, but I would ask for the big, thick animal encyclopedias, and I would just go through them over and over and over and over again, and I'd always find something I'd never seen before. So that part was always there, and the fascination. Tarantulas specifically were always a gimmick pet to me, and I was actually not afraid of them, but same reason I don't do snakes. I'm horrified of mice and rats, especially dead ones. So I always thought you had to feed tarantulas mice, and I'm just thinking, like, dude, they suck the juices out of what they eat, and I don't want to have to deal with like balled up mouse parts. Like, no. So then when I found out, they just eat roaches and stuff like normal, you actually shouldn't feed them. So that changed the whole game. And the only experience I had with a tarantula was I had a classmate who had one, and she was out for like 2 weeks because she got a hair in her eye. And I was like, why are you holding a tarantula? How did you have a tarantula in your face to get a hair in your eye? That sounds silly.
Yeah.
So I actually remember saying, yeah, that's never going to be me. But you know, here I
Here
am,
you are.
40 tarantulas later. But I, like I said, I've never been afraid of them. I'm very fascinated by them. I have a very healthy respect for them. We're actually getting our first old world tomorrow.
What?
OBT.
Know what it is?
So
Oh no.
yeah, we're gonna go head first. But I mean, we have a bird eater, we have a sun tiger,
Yeah.
we have a lot of more skittish species that we kind of did a ladder approach. We're getting it from a good friend, Tarantula Antics JC, on TikTok. He's been a huge wealth of knowledge and super supportive of it, and it means a lot more. You know, he's walked me through it and you know
Yeah.
educated me on the species before we get into it, and you know he's right there if I need to talk to him, and you know having a spider that my friend produced, like that's awesome.
That is. It really is when you have supportive people in the community that just looks out for you in that sense. And
Yeah.
yeah, like Roy off the bat, me, you know, Dom.
Yeah, that's my dog.
Yeah, like it's just amazing. And pro tip for OBTs, even though they are a terrestrial species, give them both, all three, arboreal opportunities and fossorial opportunities because they will utilize it.
This is what it's going in, so
Perfect.
I think we're good to go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. So yeah, a lot of people think that OBTs have a really bad reputation. There
Mhm.
are people who are watching that don't know what an OBT is. They are the orange bitey thing or the Pteronoculus murinus. It's the orange bitey thing that it gets a bad reputation for being so
Bite.
aggressive. Yeah, and defensive. But they're not aggressive, they're defensive.
Yeah, that part. We
So
our friends think we're you know weird for having tarantulas, and family too. It is what it is. I've always said I'm weird and I don't like normies, so I'll take it. But they asked us, you know, do we hold them? Do we take precautions? If we saw one outside and had to grab it, what would we do? And I'd be like, I
yeah.
probably just wouldn't grab it if I didn't have to. But no tarantula is aggressive. Like they're just not. I think any tarantula, if they have an avenue of escape, will choose that over attacking.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I just kind of have this healthy respect, you know, of an OBT. I know the consequences of if it does choose to be defensive, but like you said, JC has been very vocal about you give them cover, you give them space, you give them respect, and you should have issues. Bless you. So the only thing I'm worried about is Olivia likes to have days where she touches things and is naughty.
I
So,
know. I saw that today. I was like, oh, Olivia.
I just kind of like look around, like, okay, which one looks like?
Whoa!
Oh, this is so pretty. It's so orange.
Would you look at that? Just want to touch it.
Then bam.
And that's her favorite color too. So
And now I gotta
really
call.
for that.
Now I gotta call Dom and be like,
Yeah. Will Weeze is one of my good friends. He definitely supports me.
Yeah. I have two OBTs and they're slings, but they are, one of them I call Giger and the other one is Chomp.
Okay.
So just by the name Chomp, you already know, kind of imagine why his name is Chomp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're great. They're awesome. I love OBTs.
Is he named like Giger after like the radiation detection?
No, H.R. Giger from Aliens.
Oh, okay. Like the face huggers. Okay, that's
yeah,
cute.
yeah. So actually, Chris Pels Peculiar Pets, he got me an OBT. He's gonna send it pretty soon. I'm just like, oh my gosh, a full. Well, I think it's a juvie OBT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. But
yeah, that's awesome.
I'm gonna look at them for real.
Yeah,
they're really nice.
It's like a land goldfish.
Would you look at that?
Yeah.
Just
it's
look
basically a goldfish, a puppy goldfish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That you can touch but probably shouldn't.
Exactly. If I were to compare an OBT to an actual dog, it would be
a dog. You say a cane corso?
Yeah.
Bruh, don't get me started on contest.
Why?
That's my favorite dog of all time.
No way. You too?
Yeah, I had one growing up named Leonidas. He was blue brindle, 140 pounds. And if that's what you compare it to, I'm excited because he was a monster to anyone that was not our family. I mean, a monster. Like this dog pushed over a 6 foot fence with his paws
Wow.
to get to our. He didn't attack our neighbor, but our neighbor would flick cigarette butts over the fence at him and antagonize him. And I guess one day he just said, "All right, what's up, dude? What's up?" And he just stood there on the perimeter. And then our neighbor comes to our yard and rings the doorbell. And he's like, "Hey, if your dog ever does that again, I'm gonna shoot him." I'm like, "What the heck, dude?"
Wow.
Anyway, that being said, they are the biggest babies. The biggest babies. Like kind of like Rottweilers. That was my first dog. But I love mastiff breeds, bully breeds. They are the biggest babies. They get horrible names for themselves because of irresponsible people. It's never the dog's fault. Well,
Exactly.
either they were bred poorly and it's still not the dog's fault, or you have people that will walk their giant, I'm not going to say aggressive breed, but it's a dog. It's going to do what it is bred to do and what its genes tell it to do. It's going to protect its family and its territory. So if you have it off of a leash, then you're taking that risk. If you go up to a dog off of a leash, you're taking that risk. If you go up to someone with a dog and just put your hand in his face and it bites you, that's your fault.
Exactly.
So I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly the attitude I have with any old world or any tarantula period. Even if it's a sling, like I'm not going to go out of my way to bother it or do something to put it in distress, because if it goes wrong or if I hurt it, if it hurts me, it was my fault.
Boom. Perfectly said. And so those are the characteristics of an OBT. A lot of people get it so misidentified, and not misidentified, mischaracterized. And so whenever they try to say, how can you compare it to, if you're trying to say it's a good tarantula when it has a bad reputation? Well, I say it has a bad reputation because how are you treating it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone I know who has OBTs and keeps them properly, they say they've never gotten a threat pose.
Exactly.
Super calm, super docile. And then you see people like well, I won't say names. I'm sure anyone who tarantulas on YouTube can think of some people who have OBTs that are always in threat pose. And I'm like, I don't have an OBT to know what it's like, but I have to assume they were bothering it and fiddling with it way before they started the camera. And the threat pose gets views.
Yep. That's why I feel like a lot of people just do that just to get that famous shot.
Factor. Yeah.
And that's actual abuse. That's animal
I
abuse.
would agree. Yeah.
I would agree. I would agree too.
It's no different than poking a bear, so to speak.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
The things that I touch without Dom are things that I know that will not hurt me, or I won't hurt it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I do have a healthy respect for all of the creatures that live in this house. And, I'm like, okay, I'm going to see, test their temperature. If they don't want to be bothered, I'm not going to bother you. If you want to come out and play, let's play. If you don't, you don't. So I do have a very healthy respect for them.
Perfectly.
Yeah, I get paranoid when she does do it, but it's really just my OCD, because I always say, why does it matter if I get a tarantula or get something else to go on a tank that's already there and empty, and it's not, you don't take care of it, so it doesn't matter. So these are my babies. Like, it's very relaxing to me to walk through and water everybody, feed everybody, check on them. That's my zen. That's my happy place. That's my peace. I could see other people being like, holy crap, how do you manage, 50, 60 invertebrates? We have praying mantises, centipedes, scorpions, an assassin bug, crested geckos. But they're all small and fit into a small space, so it's cool. But, it's like watering plants for other people, I guess. Some people go jogging, but I want to mess with my spiders. Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break. Chris, we're going to ask you to roll our sponsors video. And after that, we're going to talk some fun stuff. So take it away, Chris. There it is.
Oh,
hey,
yeah, Fandex.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Lights come on, pulse in the air, we unite. Cold-blooded got 5 feet in the night. Cold-blooded caffeine, fueling the fight. Reptile crew got our backs tight. Thank you for keeping us all. CMB reptiles rolling with soul. Hold no soul, lifting our goal. Together we burn like burning coal. Elevate, more fries in the show. Irresistible pythons letting it flow. Better recruit, yeah, but watch them go. In to go. Reptile Co set the glow. Shut up feeders with shut out feeders. Under the rock with cold-blooded hitters. Ship your reptiles, make life better. South Bay reptiles through every weather. Blue tongue, shaman, blue tongue republic. Arc adventures, riding republic. No fakes, no breaks, we're here to publish. Taking it higher, dreams embellished. Sponsors love through beats, we rise. Showing thanks met under the skies. Unite the world, reptile ties. Cold blood, warm hearts, no disguise.
Oh, that's cool, right?
That was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah. So Chris does all of our sponsor reels and pictures and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
They did a great job with it.
Yeah, that was really good.
So speaking of support systems, I'm just checking the comments, and both you and I have the greatest support in the comments. So I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone in the comments. Thank you. I'm very, I don't like to show emotion. Not that I can show emotion, but if I were to show emotion, yeah, it's really
You would
touching.
look weak.
Huh? Emotions are for the weak.
You're literally just a girl, Kat. You're just a girl.
Am I?
You're just a girl.
Is she?
Show a little emotion.
She
It's okay.
she was actually 86 spiders in a skin suit. The real cat.
That's exactly it. That's
The
exactly
real
it.
cat's long gone. We're talking literally a arachnid cat.
Literally a cat.
Yeah. That's funny because I actually spoke to Tarantula Cat last night, and we had the same conversation that no, she suggested me that if I wanted to like go more up in this industry, like I should like change my name or whatever because people get confused. I'm like, yeah, thank you, but I'm not really into wanting that fame. I don't want that. I just want to be here.
Me
With,
neither.
yeah, I just want.
I just want to talk about spiders and play
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah, yeah, and of course we support each other. We love each other. I mean, I will always support her. She's amazing. I love Tarantula Cat.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so funny that yeah, we have similar things. We have a similar name. Our actual birth name is the same, and it's just funny.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I've
The
seen you
irony.
get that question a bajillion times. Like,
I
do
do.
you like Tarantula Cat?
But when I hear tarantula cat and arachnid cat, I don't think of the same
I
person.
don't. Well,
I've never thought of the same
Nah.
person. So I can see how some people would, just because of the similarities. But you guys have two totally different like personalities.
also, I'm no offense to the Tarantula Cat, but I like Arachnid Cat better. I mean, I'm biased.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's very. Thank you, Dom. Thank you.
Yeah. You know,
Liv, thank you for raising him well.
Yes, I mean it's a struggle. I got to get the belt out almost every day, but I got to get the belt out.
Yeah, she's actually crazy.
Yeah, I'm a certified crash out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. Wow.
No, I'm not. I mean, a little bit.
You know how much makeup I had to put on before we did this to hide the bruises?
Did you actually have to do like the whole tamping, and everything, the brushing and everything?
I actually have a effects artist that does prosthetics and stuff. So believe it or not, she is it nickels or quarters? I think it's quarters that she puts in a sock. She swings them around, and
Yeah,
she hit me so hard she
where
knocked
it
my
go.
block off. And, this whole head you see is actually not even real. It's just a mannequin head.
I was wondering where this is going.
Okay.
I don't really
let's
beat
change that.
him, y'all. Please don't believe this. I don't beat this man.
You can't take him anywhere. You can't, all right?
Mm-mm.
No. So that's what I love about like couples. Sometimes I have to admit this. Sometimes when I see couples and they're together, whatever, I just want to use that sock and be like, whoosh.
Yes.
But no,
Yes.
when couples supporting each other, that actually makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how do they get to that point? So what is your secret?
You just gotta like trust each other, honestly. Like trust and communication
Mm-hmm.
really goes a long way, especially as we're growing. in popularity, and growing, with our family behind
Yeah.
us, all 8-legged families that we have. Just trust and communication really goes a long way, and like really genuinely supporting each other and respecting one another.
And
So,
I'm sorry.
no, I'm good.
And I'll be completely transparent. I think a big issue with any kind of couple you see on social media or TV, whatever, don't ever compare yourself to someone. The second you compare yourself, your
Yeah.
joy is done.
Yeah.
And B, a lot of times you're seeing the best view of someone or something. You'll see someone who's already made it, and you're like, "Oh, how'd you get there?" And they say, "I did work." That was the answer. I worked for it.
I worked for it.
It's easy to say, "Oh, well, you're popular now. It's easy for you, yada yada yada." Or as a couple, you get along so well, you work so well together. Like you guys don't see the arguments and the fights and the like you said, communication and trust.
Yeah.
She didn't trust me to keep all of this in order and it not get out of hand and start leaking onto our counters and stuff. And taking care of the animals is work. It's not they're not furniture. I have to water them, I have to feed them, I have to make sure that they're housed properly. It's work. And for someone like Olivia who is not into that aspect of it, like I said, I take care of them. That sounds way more daunting than in my reality it is. What's up, JC? That's JC who gave me the OBT I was telling you about.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. What was I talking about?
Taking care of them.
Right. So maybe like the trust I had to build with her. I had to show you, okay, I can take care of 2, I can take care of 4, I can take care of 6, I can take care of 13, I can take care of 26, I can take care of 30, I can take care of 38. By the way, I brought a stroking home. I can take care of 40. And I've had no hiccups so far, so let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
And on my part, I wasn't communicating super well. I was sneaking animals in and not being transparent about what I was doing. So I think as time is going on, we're finding a happy medium. Not to mention managing the social media aspect of it. We both get very exhausted by like no social battery. We both work very high stress jobs. We come home and then we do this. So it's our second shift, and we have a child. So the list goes on of responsibilities and stuff. But what we have that makes it all work is we love each other, we respect each other. Even when we do butt heads, it's never about I'm right, she's wrong, she's right, I'm wrong. It's like we find where's that middle ground? How do we make this work so that she's happy and I'm happy? I would never want to push her past the point of feeling comfortable in her own home. And the same token, like she said, we grew up not being able to have the pets we wanted, being told no by our parents, and I feel comfortable that I am with someone who, if not has as much of an interest, is supportive of my interest. So that's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So, hi, Britt.
What's up, Britt?
So, do you guys have a system in place where, say, you guys go to the store and you only go to the store for one certain thing? I'm talking about like pet store here.
Mm-hmm.
You only go for one thing, and say, for example, Dom is like, dang, I always wanted this tarantula, and look at the price, and Liv goes, babe, we can't do that right now.
That's not how it is at all.
What goes on?
He goes to the pet store without me because he knows I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
He knows I'm gonna, it's all fun and games, but outside of social media, outside of recording videos, outside of everything, these are real animals, real and like real living, breathing things that need love, need attention and stuff, and I don't want to lose the actual. Like I don't want it to get so wrapped up in like, oh, we got to record every single thing, and then when it comes to like going to pet stores, that's just another thing that we have to like introduce, and because there's some spiders back here that we haven't even shown yet, so he don't take me with him, to answer your question.
Yeah, a man can only hear no so many times. So I don't remember who said this quote. It was probably some man with a beard, but he said it's better to ask forgiveness than permission, and I found that to be the case. So
That's not great advice, by the
it is
way.
good advice. I'm gonna
That's
say if
not
you
great
are a
advice.
prospective animal hoarder like myself, and your partner is not amenable to your proclivities for creatures in your home, the
Mhm.
best thing you can do is try, show them pictures, educate them.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this. What do you think of this? And if you're met with rejection or negative responses, then you just do it anyway, and they'll get used to it.
Yeah. So I'm just wrapping my head around it because what if we're both addicted to something and our house just becomes like this full-blown zoo? Where do we say no? Like, when do we say no? Like, what kind of advice can you give to people who are in that situation? Gotham, get down. Oh my god, go ahead.
I don't, I don't know if we're equipped to give that kind of advice because I've said many times if Olivia was like me, I don't, I don't. Well, no, it reaches a point where even I have boundaries on what I will bring. Are you allowed to cuss on this?
No.
No. Okay. Well, my motto is if it fits, you can't say.
Yeah.
So we have designated spaces for our animals. We have racks. The second they start being on our counter and bathrooms and our kitchen, and like our living space, it's already
Yeah.
bad enough. There's a lot of spiders in our son's
Yeah.
room. But the second it's impinging on, I should never be reaching for a fork and there'd be a spider there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, I
Yeah.
would never let it get to that point. But I mean, everyone's boundaries and where they want to stop are different. I would say if it's
Yeah.
affecting
Yeah.
your
Your
ability
quality
to
of
move
life.
through your home
Yeah.
and your quality of life, and more importantly, your ability to give quality care,
Quality
then you need
care.
to stop.
Yeah.
You said it. That's perfect. That's
It's a
the
good
perfect answer. So
yeah.
you mentioned you guys have kids.
Yeah, we have a son,
One son.
4 year old.
Okay. And so are you going to inculcate them into, what you guys do now? Like
Oh heck yeah,
tracking it.
He's already pretty much like he likes to feed our feeders that we feed to the spiders. He
Mhm.
likes to feed those. If we're out holding him, he's really engaged. He doesn't, run, which goes back to how we're all like growing up, we're taught that these creatures are bad, they hurt you, they're scary. But now we have to like mold the next generation or educate our current generation
Mhm.
Mhm.
on, you know, that these are actually really good, low maintenance pets to keep. And I don't even want to call them pets because it's more so of like, you
Their
know,
family.
their family.
Mhm.
Like I cried over a jumping when Wednesday passed away.
Oh
I
man,
cried like a
we
baby.
held each other in the
And
bathroom
I
just
was
boo
like, why am
sobbing.
I, saying? But it's just like that was my baby. Like that
Yeah.
was like the first spider that I actually
That-
connected with. And when you actually learn that they actually have little personalities and
Yep.
stuff, they don't become just a pet anymore. They
Yeah,
become a part of your family.
Yeah.
and our son, I almost feel like he's become jaded to tarantulas, and I say that to mean when he grows up and he's 16, 17, and he sees animals at the pet store, he'll probably be kind of like, oh yeah, that's cool. I have that in my living room, so no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's awesome. That's how I wanted to grow up. We
Right.
had a lot of pets. Don't get me wrong, but they were never my pets. It was my
Uh-huh.
dad had pets, and then he'd get kind of bored of them. They give them away. I mean, we've had so many pets come in and out of our house growing up. And then my sister, my little sister, she never took care of her pets, but if she could ask for anything, and bam, yeah, let's give it to her. But I would have to scrape and beg and plot and scheme and do extra chores to get an
Yep.
ant. So yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I feel like like I feel like I'm talking to a mirror because growing up, my parents would always say yes to my brother, and they got him ball python. I mean, no, not ball, the blood python, garter snake, and another blood python, and they always died. And I'm like, over here, I'm the one here taking care of it, but
Hmm.
Yeah.
yet
Yeah.
you
But
can
yeah, he can
I
get
Yeah.
do
one.
things for him that he doesn't even take care of, and to this day, he doesn't like animals. So with he has two boys now, and so I don't have kids. I don't want kids. But
Mhm.
my nephew, the first one, I kind of raised him too. And I raised him the way I was raised. And so I raised him to respect these animals, never to be afraid because there's nothing really to be afraid of,
Mhm.
and have, a healthy conscience when you see, like, for example, an ant. That's creation.
Mhm.
Don't,
Yeah.
just because
Yeah.
it's something small and you see other people step on them, like, oh, ha 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 ha, I'm gonna step on it. Don't do
Mhm.
that. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm teaching my nephew, and that's what I'm gonna teach my other nephew too.
That's awesome.
Respect these animals. Yeah.
Yeah, we're. I'm sorry.
Now, no, no. I was just about to say now, Jackson, because we have lightning bugs around in the area, which, besides the point, they are going extinct because of deforestation. But that's a whole other topic. But we have
Mhm.
lightning bugs around, and I'm like, Jackson, let's go outside and let's look at lightning bugs. And we would try to catch them, but he's like, can we take them in? And then that's when I have to go back and educate him and be like, no, they need to stay outside because if we take them in, they'll die.
Mhm.
He's like, well, our tarantulas aren't dead. Okay, but not every bug needs to come into the house, and this is why. Like,
Mhm.
it's almost like, and I tell him, it's just like a flower that's growing. If we pick this flower,
Yeah.
this flower is beautiful the way it is, and if we pick it out the ground, uproot it, it'll die and it won't be pretty anymore.
Mhm.
Just like if we take this lightning bug, how are we going to enjoy the lights from it if we take it inside and it dies, kind of thing. So it's all about education
Mhm.
and exposure,
And empathy.
and empathy. Yeah.
I love that
It-
analogy.
yeah, it's funny you said that with the whole stomping on bugs and stuff because Jackson definitely had that phase where he would see an ant or a bug or whatever and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna smash it." I'm like, "No, dude, like, no, it didn't do anything to you."
Yeah.
Right.
I will say that our rule is if it doesn't hurt you or spread disease, then leave it be. Um, I learned about Buddhism and reincarnation and all that kind of stuff. I'm a Christian, but I still think about all. Yeah, I'm not gonna get in religion and all that kind of stuff. All that to say, this creature lived its whole life just across my path, and who am I to take that right to live away from it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything
That's-
should be respected.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that I like about this community because I feel like everybody's on the same accord when it comes to things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And or even like when we have to feed our snakes or not our snakes particularly, we don't have any snakes, but when something has to get sacrificed and fed to them, we
Right.
have a respect for that sacrifice, and we
Mhm.
have a respect for that roach. Like, thank you for continuing our family member's life, kind
Mhm.
of thing. Our roaches live good, our
Yeah.
feeders live good. We take care of them too, just like we
Yeah.
take care of our
We keep all of our
tarantulas,
roaches and stuff bioactive, so
Yeah.
they're loved until they're unalive.
unalived.
Everything has a purpose, basically.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love how you brought that analogy up about the flower because
Yeah.
that's how we're gonna teach our children is through analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Not only our children, but new people that are coming into the hobby.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm sure everyone in the hobby and anyone in reptile hobby in general, if you have creepy crawlers, it's not a dog or a cat or a hamster, even rats. I don't like rat. I actually like pet rats, but dead rodents just really disturb me for some reason. And because my mom has been afraid of mice my whole life, I just can't stand a wild mouse. But even that has its place. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So, what kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to get into the hobby? Like, oh, I like this, but I don't know if I should, or I don't know where to start. What would you say?
Educate yourself.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Start with education.
watch
Yeah.
videos, find a channel you like, talk to people who have them, even if it's just following a page on Instagram.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. It's pretty amazing the people I've seen that will come on to like TikToks or TikTok lives or just that I interact with and they'll say, "Oh, I'm so afraid of spiders, but I'm kind of interested," and then 3 months later, "Oh, I got my first sling," and then bam, like
Yeah.
so many people I talk to that are into tarantulas now used to have arachnophobia. And I would just love if every person in the world had a choco golden knee or curly hair,
Oh my gosh.
and
Yeah.
it would just make them better people. I feel like that would solve world peace. You know, I deal with it all the time at work. You know, set your house on fire, smash it. You know, what's wrong with you? But you just have to get in there and experience it. The first tarantula I ever saw or put hands on was my own. Every time I go to a zoo or a pet store that had them, they were underground, so it was just kind of like, oh, I guess it's there. So once you actually hands on, especially as a sling, if you get a baby sling, you can't be afraid of a little 1/4 inch sling, man. Like, and then you're nurturing this tiny, tiny thing up into a huge spider, but it is so rewarding because that's the same creature. You just have nurtured it to that point. So yeah, education, and then start small. You don't have to get an OBT, adult male, you know, as your first spider. Just find someone who has one. Ask them about it. Look at it.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie, Miss Congeniality. Okay, you know where they're talking at the end?
Yeah.
World peace.
Yeah, like the humanitarian speech.
Yeah. But no, that you said it perfectly, and starting small, yes. Starting with education, yes. But I also feel the same, like, if you don't feel comfortable starting right now, you can always start later.
Yeah. Fact. There's no rush. Spiders were here before us. They'll probably be here after us. You know, it's no rush.
Yeah. And it's not a competition either. It's
right.
It really isn't, because I see it so much now.
I was just telling Don about that.
Yeah. Like, I saw a comment the other day. It was, oh, I finally got my my postal etheria, da 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 da. Like, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. And I'm like, okay. And what are you planning to do with that?
Right. You just have one just to have it, or do you have one because you actually
like it and you
genuinely want it? And Kat, you actually brought up a good point, because I was actually just telling Dom about this. I was like, what irritates me most about this hobby, and coming from somebody that, you know, educated themselves and actually started to like, you know, tarantulas outside of, you know, aesthetics, it's more so it's like, oh, I got this, or I got that, or I got this, that, and the third. And, you know, it's like, okay, but their living conditions are, you know, subpar. You know, you're messing with them just to get the shock factor. Like, do you have this to, you know, advance yourself, or do you have this because you actually genuinely like this? You know, like, it's not a competition or a race to see who can have the coolest species. Like, no, it's more so of like, let's grow this niche. You know, let's water it. You know.
Yeah. So that, and thank you for bringing that up too, because I'm tired of seeing that. Like, we're here for the animals. We're not here for the views, for the likes. We're here to support each other. That's what it's about. The love in the community, the respect in the community, and the advocacy for these animals.
And on that note as well, you got to be open-minded. No one knows everything, and there's this criminally understudied. There's so little research done, so little understanding. So if you've been doing something XYZ, if it works, great. But if someone else did something another way and it worked, great. You have to be willing to accept that there's either more than one way to do it, or you might not be right. We had someone turn up on us for our curly hairs enclosure being dry. From what they saw what 8-second clip, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're using your spider."
Not enough substrate.
Not enough substrate. I mean,
we're like,
we started it out. She dug a trench, and there's like a mountain that she sits on top of. She did that, not us. That's not what it looked like.
Right.
Yeah.
And she just went on and on and on, and you know, I was explaining to her how, you know, you're making judgments off of the video you saw, but you're not in my house looking at the spider, you know, seeing the care we give it. And she was like, you know, I'm not going to explain or help somebody out who just, you know, you should have a pet rock. You shouldn't even have a pet rock. I'm like, okay, if you cared about my spider's well-being, you would tell me what I should do to fix it, not sit here and scold me on social media. But, you know, okay, have a nice day. I genuinely mean it, have a nice day.
He had to handle that, because you know,
Olivia was about to pull the Philly out.
And I told you, I'm a certified crash out. I don't like disrespect, so he had to handle that.
I handle PR.
He's HR.
Yeah,
Yeah,
PR,
yeah, he's
HR.
HR.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not HR. I'm the one that gets sent to HR.
Yeah.
Or jail.
Liv is punch hit first, and Dom is ask questions later.
Yeah.
She
Yes.
hits first and asks, why?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically.
Mhm.
I love that. So your support system and your family, do they support what you guys are doing?
My mom does.
Her mom rides for us.
Yeah, my mom does.
My mom. So my dad really supports us. Like I said, he's got me into animals to begin with. He actually, we converted him and my stepmom to spider people. We gave her our Asamani, mature female, and or we gave it to him, and kind of the same deal as us. He didn't really ask her, and I just brought it over during our cookout. I was like, "Hey, here you go, Pop," and she was like, "I thought we discussed that we might get it, not that we were going to." Long story short, she named it a different name and cares for it and frets over it, and it's in a fauna coma, so it's been doing nothing for 6 months, and she's like freaking out. But
yeah.
it's just funny to me that way.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny how you say convert.
Yeah, converted to the cult. But my mom,
Come to the dark
took-
side.
I took a picture of my mom at, was it Mother's Day, where we were talking about, like, I think we'd hit like maybe 600 followers at that point. We're excited for every one follower we get.
Yeah, I remember we had 100. It was like, oh my God, people like us. Yeah.
We got like 100 views on the video. Like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yes.
It was just really heartwarming, and we told my mom about it and our plans. We're breeding, and we want to get further into breeding and the research and stuff. And my mom just sat there and looked like, because she's very risk adverse, and all she's hearing is you have a hobby that you're spending money on and hoarding animals with. And I'm like, Mom, you just
So
have to
much
be
more than that.
I guess don't.
Yeah.
If not support, just don't hate. So she comes out to the lives every once in a while. She'll like our videos every once in a while. She's coming around.
She's coming around. Yeah, she's definitely coming around because she sees how happy it makes us, and it makes her think like, okay, if it's making them happy, it makes Jackson happy, which is our son. Then obviously there's something good here. She's very type A, very much like a realistic
Pragmatist.
Yeah. So things like this is kind of like out of her comfort zone. So I feel like that's why she kind of meets a little bit of resistance there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when she does come over, she actually does like look and what's that? So I'm saying, so it's little steps, big steps.
Yeah, I always say that, like, when someone who doesn't understand why what it is what you do, or why they can't just wrap around their head as to why do you like tarantulas or why do you like reptiles. And I always say, if they can see the passion you have and the love you have for it, then they'll slowly start to like be curious why. And so in my life, my biggest support system is my stepdad. And slowly he's like, oh, okay, I see that. Okay, all right.
Right.
Yeah, it's so nice. And then in the community, I have like the craziest support system. I have Chris, the other Chris, everyone in the comments basically. But like, if we were to be in a room, I heavily think that we would show some serious debauchery in our
tone. Yeah.
Could you imagine if we all got turned into kids and just like did show and tell, like sitting in a circle, like this is my praying mantis, and this is this spider, and this is that spider. Oh, that's cool. I like that one. Chris Pelford, I think he was one of the first.
He was one of
friends
our first,
I would say that I made and talked to about stuff, and he was just super patient with the questions that I asked, and I probably came off super ignorant, but he's still to this day like that's my guy.
He's really cool.
Centipedes, he got me into him, and he puts seeds into my head of, you need this centipede, you need that centipede. I'm like, I want to, but Olivia will divorce me. And he's like, don't worry about that. She'll get over it. So just Chris, Gems Jumpers, Roy, JC, and then our friend group, I would say, Bella, Christina, Erica, Rachel, everybody is just super into spiders, and supportive, you know, even outside of spider stuff. But
Mhm.
anytime someone has a question, everyone is just bam,
Super
inclusive,
helpful.
super helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really it's a web. I mean,
Yeah.
without
It
making
is.
it's like a web.
Yeah, and I like how you brought that up. That it's not just about what we have in common, like our spiders.
Right.
Just the other day, I was talking with host Chris Untamed,
Mhm.
and yeah, because there's like a few Chris's in the comments, so I'm just like,
Yeah, it's a common
so
name.
I have to say like Chris this one, Chris that one, Chris that.
Our
But
friend.
yeah, we were just talking the other day, and we have not only what we have in common, but we're there for each other. Like whether you're having a bad day or something this happened, he's always there to pick you up. You know,
Mhm.
like he always says, if I have a table and I have food, you're gonna eat with me. You know,
Yeah.
that's how
Hell
he.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm eating, you eating.
Yeah, so that's so beautiful that you guys have that within your marriage and within the community. I
Yeah,
love that.
that's
Like
what it's all
like
about.
I said, like that's what attracted me honestly to spiders was like the actual community. You know what I'm saying? Like that the support everybody shows, and I would rather share you guys' stuff, over like, more famous people stuff. Not saying that their stuff isn't good, but like it's like a certain wholesome, like from a micro level, it's like a wholesome, genuine like rawness.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Versus, obviously when you start growing and you get the hundreds of thousands of followers,
Mhm.
and things is kind of shift, according to whatever you adapt to. But the small accounts just have just such a rawness to them that I
Hmm.
really like.
And to that point, I'm sure everyone who's gotten into spiders and Googled something has landed on arachnoboards, and then
Yeah.
stuff that got said 10 years ago, and they were still calling curly hairs brachypelma and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And you have just the most, some of the most obnoxious and just they'll just say you're wrong. Like they'll have typed out a whole 3-page essay on the help they need and what they've been doing, and then I'm just like, no, you're bad, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And to that point, I feel like I would almost say it feels like there's like a new uprising of like the new generation of tarantula keepers and stuff. You know, us being one of them,
Yeah.
and the newer people kind of are looking for a place of belonging. If you like spiders, you're already probably, I'm not going to say a misfit, but they're misunderstood. You're probably misunderstood for your hobby, and that kind of pushes people together, and it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. And then the people that are older in the hobby and they got it started, you have some people like Roy, for example. He's been doing this for a minute, and he's always willing to help people out, and he even learns stuff still. But then you got other people that are just want to be butt heads and want to let their ego get in the way of like what it's all about, which is we all like spiders. We just want our spiders to be taken care of. We want to learn more about spiders. We want to see
Mhm.
spiders, etc.
Yeah. And whether you're here in the community just to keep a spider or to breed, you're still gonna get the same impact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that part.
Facts.
Sorry,
It's
did I
like
cut you off?
outreach. No, 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 no.
No.
Sorry. Y'all can take a
I
drink
wish
if
I
you
had a
want.
thing of water next to me
Yeah,
too.
no.
I was like,
Why don't you
"Dad."
crack that snow globe open?
Water break. Hold on.
I was like, I don't think there's water in there. By the
I'm a
way,
little
y'all,
parched.
behind us, our Xenestus is currently molting.
Yeah.
Really?
Right.
I was about to
Like,
ask
literally
about
right
your.
here. Our Xenestus is currently molting.
Go ahead. Show. Oh wait, you can't move it. Don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're
Yeah.
not going to move
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But
There you go.
You probably can't see it from that far.
But I was gonna ask you, what is your favorite specimen in your collection?
specimen.
I'll let you say your favorite, and I'll do my favorite.
My favorite specimen is this fine specimen right here.
Perfect. Ding ding ding.
No, you go first. You go first.
My favorites, man.
It changes like weekly.
It changes. Okay, can I have two faves? Like, okay, my top two faves, like I can't decipher from, is the Pamphobediuses. And literally, because outside of how they look and their feeding response, I just love saying it like Pemphobetus. Like literally nobody at all. And I just be walking around Pemphobetus. Like I don't know. Like I just say it. But they have like great feeding response. They're beautiful. Really docile to an extent, to a point. Skittish, but they just, that's when you leave them alone and they come right back out.
Yeah,
And then
number for you.
Yeah.
Right. And then number 2 is the is it Grandma Soul or Poker Piece?
Yeah. Oz.
Yes. See, look, I'm learning. A little something. The Choco Golden Knee. That, I mean, when I tell you he is so sweet. I mean, just a little puppy dog. He's just a little puppy dog.
He just got his little golden knees on his last molt, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
For me, do I get to choose 2 too?
Honorable mention, curly hairs.
So it's the same mention with the Pamphobedius. We have Pamphobedius CF insignis. We have 3 of them. And my whole thing is big purple spiders. I love big purple spiders, so they don't look real. I didn't know they existed until like right after I got a tarantula, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. Then I looked at the price tag and I was like, oh, nope, never gonna have it. I've been so blessed with getting so many lucky spiders. Like they just fall in my lap. But the Pamphobedius, I want to have every single one of the genus. I want to master them. I want to breed them. I want everything to do with them. They are all beautiful. They are all sexually dimorphic. The little Christmas tree butts when they're small. And feeding response, there's just nothing better. There's nothing better.
Yes. Their feeding response is just incredible. I think they have the most aggressive feeding response out of all the Pamphobedius. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And second, I'd say our versicolor, our biggest Caribbean versicolor. She just had her first red molt, so she got the red fluffy butt. But they're fun to watch grow up because they're little blueberries, and then they pop, and they're great eaters. The web tunnels are awesome. They grow moderately medium, I'd say. They're like medium growers, but they're showers. And I really love them. Like, they're beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, so she's in pre-molt right now.
Show and tell.
This huge.
Nice.
That's nice.
Hey, let's share.
So this is her huge penthouse.
Everybody going back here.
Yeah. Yeah, show yours.
Can you see her at all?
She's right here.
She just finished molting. She took her first meal.
Show them the entrance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can see her kind of through there, but the screen's so small. But yeah, I really like versicolors.
Yeah, it's funny because which it's a versicolor you said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I know about the Laeta, but
the Laetas?
Yeah, I'm not really big into them. They're kind of boring looking.
Yeah, they lose their blues.
Yeah, but when they're babies though, their blue is prettier than the versicolor in my opinion. It's like a sky blue instead of a like cerulean blue.
But you know what I noticed on the Caribbean Laetas? They have a hexagon pattern, whereas the Verses have like a more slightly octagon shape.
Are you talking on the abdomen?
Yeah.
I've never noticed that. I've barely ever seen them, so yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So that's the only thing about the Caribbean Laetas is that they lose their blueberry color. Yeah.
I mean, they're not by any means an ugly spider. I mean, even the final colors, they kind of remind me of a Cambridgei to a small degree. They have that pretty copper color. It's just I don't like the way they look enough to ever spend money on one. If I got it, I would take care of it, and I'm sure I'd love it. Oh, that's dope, Chris. Chris said he just paired his Versies.
I know that.
He's got it going on, man.
Oh yeah, he did.
He's working over there.
Yeah, he pulled his first sack yesterday. He's the queen of industry.
He just got a whole shipment in today, and one of them, oh my gosh, I keep telling him, Chris, I know you know this, and I know you know that I have to tell you, please be careful. But I know, like, he gets mad at me. He's like, don't tell me what to do. Like, I
Mhm.
know, please be
Girl,
careful.
yeah, they all do it.
Whatever.
They don't listen
Y'all
to
think
reason.
you know everything.
Reason, ew.
Don't get me started on reason, madam. What was your reason again for why I can't get a Pac-Man frog?
Because I said so.
Because
And now, 40 tarantulas later, because you said so. Because she said so.
We don't have
y'all.
a Pac-Man frog though.
do you like them?
I've never had one before. Shoot, I got my first lizard. She let me have my first lizard for my birthday, so she did good there. But yeah, I've never had a frog before.
Mm.
But,
So when it comes to, like, I know people get this very heavily backlash when it comes to children and having certain venomous animals in the house.
Mhm.
I get backlash for that, for not even my nephew, and he doesn't even live here. He just stays here sometimes.
Yeah.
When it comes to, like, people and having, like, really hot venomous animals and they have children, obviously we're gonna take the precautions. We're
Mhm.
gonna
Right.
take safety precautions to, like, down to a T, right? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Can
feel
you
like
hear
I'm
us?
staticky.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
You sound really
Yeah,
crisp
you
and
said
clear.
you sound clear.
Oh. Ooh. On my phone, it sounded like, for a second, it sounded like static.
You on T-Mobile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we.
Biggest
Yeah.
network.
Like,
I mean, they
okay.
are though. They brought us Sprint.
They act
Oh,
like.
okay. So you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind then. That's just me.
Proceed.
Okay. So, if someone were to come to you with that concern, what would you advise them, or, like, what would you, like, help them ease their concern? What would you say?
Well, my grandmother called me. We were probably about 16 spiders in at this point. My grandma calls me and she was like, she calls me Nick. My family calls me Nikki. My name's Dominic, but Nikki.
Yeah,
She's like, Nikki, what do you have in your house? And I was like, you talked to my mom, didn't you? She's like, you have spiders and you keep them in Jackson's room? And I was like, yes, Matt Moon. She's like, but what if they bite him? And I was like, first off, I don't have any species that are like super venomous. Second off, I keep them contained. Third off, no one's ever died from a tarantula bite. And you know, we for a long time said we absolutely would not do any old roads until we moved and had like a devoted spider room.
Yeah.
We obviously have laxed on that, but we have them outside. They're not in his room. And again, secure. They're all magnet locked. And you know, we just have to have that level of responsibility there, and also just like
You tell Jackson don't touch it.
yeah, he understands.
Yes.
Mhm.
Don't touch it.
I grew up with, you know, my dad was in the military. He firm believer in the Second Amendment. So from the time I was 4 years old, you know, they are not toys. It is not something to play with.
Yeah.
Same deal with the spiders. You know, don't pull on me while I'm messing with the spiders. Don't pull on me while I'm feeding the spiders. Don't throw things around the spiders, et cetera, et cetera. So he's got that locked like pretty firm.
Yeah, he's pretty. Yeah, he's good with.
So it's a combination of you take the precautions as the adult, and then you have to educate the kid.
Exactly.
Obviously,
Yeah.
if you have it in your home, it's never going to be a 0% chance. But you know, you could get struck by lightning. You can get bit by a dog. Is
You can get
infinitely
stung by
more
a bee
dangerous than
outside.
a spider.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's
Um,
a chance to everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
I actually. It's funny you said you told Chris to be careful, because I remember one day he went live on Instagram and he was holding, I want to say, a hyneum centipede, and then he gets off live and like 5 minutes later he's like, I've been envenomated. I'm like, what? But like he was okay, so I was like, oh, so it's not that bad. And there we go. Like, fear gone. Respect is there, but I'm not afraid anymore. I still won't hold my honey, but still, fear's gone.
Yeah. So will you ever get, Liv, cover your ears. Will you ever get a centipede?
Oh, we have one. We have a scolopendra dahani, an orange leg.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
We just don't show him like that because he's always underground.
Yeah, he just sleeps all day. He doesn't even
sleeps.
eat. There was 3 dubios living in his enclosure with him for like 2 months.
Oh wow.
I threw a carrot in there for him. I think he
Yeah.
ate them recently because they're not there. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. So are you guys doing any bioactives? Like,
it's all
It's
bioactive.
every
That's all
one
we
of
do.
them. Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
All of them are
Well,
bioactive.
some people say bioactive has to have plants and all the other stuff, but in every enclosure we have springtails at the very least.
Good. Yeah.
And our more moist enclosures, we have the dwarf white and purple isopods, just to help break down anything that might mold, and it just keeps everything clean.
Right.
I've never even seen a bolus in a lot of them, or
Yeah.
not poop, but I mean they don't poop that much. But yeah, we're big fans of bioactive. What about you?
Yes, yes, I am. So I've noticed, and now that I'm into the reptile community,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a lot of similarities. And I noticed that some people that keep snakes, they either keep them in rack systems or they keep them in bioactive.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the tarantula community, we do that too, but not, rack systems. We
Yeah.
either keep them in, a good bioactive, or we keep them without the bioactive stuff,
Mm-hmm.
just like
Naturalistic or
regular,
whatever.
right. So I wonder, have you guys ever had people come up to you and be like, oh, it's got to be this way?
Um, yes and no. I mean, people have their preferences. Like, for example, when we started, we would use cocoa core, like Eco Earth.
Yep.
That would always mold, even with springtails, except for a few. If we just use straight cocoa core, it would always mold without fail. Now knowing what I know, that's because we didn't have enough ventilation in it. And then it also reaches a point where, okay, if you need to trap in humidity, you can't have too much ventilation. It's all a balancing act. So as we've gotten more experience, we don't deal with it as much. Like the OBT has coconut core in it, but we do mixtures like, sand, moss, jungle mix. And we have people who are advocates for it, advocates against it, but I don't think we've ever been told flat out, you have to do it this way, you can't do it that way. Unless you're using like a paper towel or a wet paper towel, I think you're pretty much okay.
Yeah.
But springtails, I would say that it can do no harm. It's a soft no harm. I could be ignorant and be missing something, but
No.
it's the point where we talked about making our house bioactive yesterday, like sprinkle some springtails on the floor and the cat box. I really genuinely wonder, and I want to do this experiment one day, if I got a big enough tray and put, earth and all that kind of stuff in it, and enough isopods to eat and keep up with cat poop, could we have a bioactive litter box?
Huh. That's a really good question.
That's a good
It
question.
is. I think the answer is no, because these cats are raggedy, but
They're not
Who
right.
answer that question for you?
Hmm.
And I'm going to promote my good friend Juice over at Juice's Arthropods. So he has made one of the best mixtures for substrate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he did, but he found the secret. And so that's one thing that a lot of people get confused with, or like how you said, they always find mold because either you're using the wrong substrate for the wrong species. Not every species needs the same environment. They all have different environments. So if you guys want to get good substrate, go check out Juice's Arthropods, and on his YouTube, check out his great magic substrate.
Great magic substrate.
It's Royal Blend, but I call it magic substrate.
I've heard a lot about Juice. I haven't I've never had the pleasure of meeting him. I know I follow him. I don't know if he follows us back, but Kevin from Spider People, he's good friends with them. You're friends with them. I've heard nothing but good things, and I'd like to know him. So Juice, if you see this, hit us up, bro.
Yeah, I'll definitely tell him to hit you up, and he will do it like this on a heartbeat.
All right, bet. See, there you go. The web, the networking. That's how it goes.
Exactly. Yep, connecting, making connections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's actually going to be on my show August 12th.
Okay, we'll definitely be there.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, y'all didn't hear that.
That didn't happen.
What happened?
Who's Juice?
Who would get that?
Caprice
Yeah.
One?
What? I like to keep like certain people as a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
No one's gonna watch it.
Yeah. So you guys didn't hear me, okay? So shh, hold up. I have my book every week. I always say who's going to be on my show next or whatever. So Dom and Liv. Who's Dom and Liv? Oh, so next week is Travis Chaotic Exotics. Mark. Mark.
That
Wait,
scratches
my
the
God.
brain.
Yeah.
You guys know him?
Nope.
No,
but
I just
want to
like it.
now.
I like his name. Yeah.
I like his
Chaotic
schmoxy.
Exotics.
Yeah, Travis Chaotic Exotics. So Kyle Markham referred me to him, or was it Arachnid Anonymous? I think they're the ones. Yes, they're the ones who referred me to him. Yeah.
Mhm.
So before we end, or we're kind of getting there, but before we do that, I wanted to make some quick announcements. So I will be hosting this show no more on Tuesdays, but on Wednesdays. So mark on your calendars for not next week. Hold on. 1, 2. So for the rest of the month, it's going to be on Tuesday. But starting in August, it's going to be in Wednesdays.
Mhm.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
booked.
Yeah, all right. Book the busy
book them
queen.
Yeah. I also have another exciting news. So I don't know if another Chris. So another Chris. It's Chris Fatman from Fatman Nation. If you're watching this, I'm going to be on his podcast. When is it? August 3rd. So
Ooh.
I want to catch
Yay.
the show. So it's Sunday night at 9 p.m. If you guys want to catch me on that show.
Absolutely.
And there's some other podcasts that I'm going to be on that I'm going to keep as a surprise. And the guests that are going to be on my show for August is going to be mind blowing. So if you guys stay tuned, it's going to be exciting.
I'm excited.
And
It's
It's the ghost of Steve Irwin.
no kidding. But I also wanted to announce that for the Untamed and Unhinged network, we're having our very own Syzygy Jules having her own podcast pretty soon. It's
Yay.
Petals and Pythons, is it right?
Mhm.
I really love the name, and I love how Chris designed the whole logo. It's amazing. It's very beautiful. So make sure to stay tuned for that because it's going to be talking about environmental and plants with our animals. So it's going to be very, very educational. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Looking forward
Oh,
to it.
petals. Yeah, petals and pythons is called.
Petals and pythons. That makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes.
You get to talk to some really cool people. Like
Yeah.
the girl you spoke to, was it last week, about the Sydney funnel websiders and everything?
Yeah, Emma Tinney. Yeah, we messaged each other. Like everyone who comes on the show, I always make sure to stay in contact with them. You know, you're not just a guest; you become family.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I always make sure to stay in contact. But she was the one who stayed in contact with me mostly. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cute. Thank you." Yeah, I love her. She's very awesome.
That's cool.
So before I end the show, what is something positive you want to leave with out of here?
Okay, how about this? As spouses, especially like wives, because I hear a lot of wives out here that go through the same thing I go through. Trust your partner. Trust that they are going to do what they are going to do.
And communicate and give grace to your partner. Don't bully them. Just very gently push them.
Yeah. I think that's very beautiful. Aww. Meanwhile, Liz pushes you like physically out.
Oh no, that wasn't me.
No, that was the cat.
Remember,
messing
it
with
would
me.
be a sock full of nickels, not
Yes.
a push.
Yes.
Okay, I'm here like, is she actually
Your
pushing?
sock sling. That's when you need
Also,
to
don't get a cat. They all have their thing with them. Cats suck.
get.
Hi, Chris.
Hey
What's
guys,
up?
hey Kat, I just wanted to say that we got another sponsor I wanted to announce before you ended the live.
Yeah.
We have the Python Portal, Big Will. He makes merch, like cups. Sorry, I got the TV on back here too. Watching you guys on TV.
We're famous, Mom.
Yeah, he makes like merch. He makes cups, like anything. Y'all can hit him up. He makes shirts, like these kind of cups.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Wow.
Dang, that
Yeah.
looks good. That
Cool.
looks really
Yeah.
good.
It's really
Yeah.
cool. I like
Yeah.
the color.
We'll have merch coming soon. We just got a Cricut.
And man, I don't know if he makes stickers, but he also does 3D printing too. So just wanted to come on
Nice.
here and announce that new
Yeah.
sponsor that I'll be dropping the real one.
Yeah. Can you announce Tasty Critters?
Oh yeah, and Tasty Critters, yes. We're actually getting a code here soon, so everybody can use Tasty Critters to get your crickets, your mealworms, silkworms. You know, we also got a code for that. It's like I think it's like 10% or 15%. I can't remember what he said.
10%.
But it's gonna be one of them.
Money.
It's gonna be Untamed 10. So
Yep.
Contain 10.
Yeah. So, but he didn't say when it's dropping yet, or no?
no, not yet.
Okay.
Definitely.
And I think, and then you got Fandex. The
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
Fandex.
looking forward to
looking
that.
forward to that
I'm
too.
looking forward to Fandex.
Yeah.
and yeah, and that's about it. I just wanted to announce that new sponsor that we just got. So
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Thank you.
all right, and
Yeah.
sorry guys, sorry it took so long,
No problem, man.
but we're working on it. I'm trying to get it right.
No, you're doing an awesome
You're
thing
doing
there.
it, yeah.
Seriously, you're doing an
Yeah,
awesome thing.
good things, just like a good pot roast. You just gotta let that thing cook
No, it's
all
slow,
day.
baby.
Just let it cook.
Appreciate you guys.
Let's
Appreciate you.
cook.
Let it cook.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's just it's a lot of work. It's time consuming. So yeah.
Hey, don't be afraid to ask for help, man.
Yeah.
I need a lot of help. Kat actually tries to help. She does.
Well, ask for help. You gotta let yourself be helped.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, like when I try to delegate things, like
Trust me.
other people, yeah, it's just kind of hard for me because it's like it's my baby. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do. I need to actually find somebody like who can help me out and stuff too. So
Right.
That's why we're a family.
Yeah, just ask, dude. I mean, even if it's something small. I mean, this is my first time speaking to you, but I don't know what I can offer. I do graphic design and stuff, so if you need help on that end of it, networking, I don't know. Maybe I know somebody who can help you. Just say what you need, and I'm sure someone can help you figure it out.
oh yeah.
Wait,
I'll hit
is
you
this
up after this.
Fandex?
No.
Oh, I was about to say, oh wow. That was a genuine comment.
Yeah. So, Chris, can you, okay, when I say like, when I give the go to end it, can you connect us like at the end?
Just stay backstage when I end it.
Yeah.
I'll end it, and then once the I'm gonna play the sponsor reel again for your ending because I gotta make it an outro for real.
Okay.
I need to
So,
make a separate outro,
Yeah.
which I need to do for all podcasts. But like Amy has her own she made, and then the outro
okay.
that I need, so she has her outro.
Okay,
But
cool.
yeah, I need to make you one for sure. But I'm working on that as well. I got a lot of stuff I'm working on. I got too much on my plate right now. But yeah,
I
I
know.
feel you, brother.
but yeah, just stay backstage and we can all talk.
Okay.
Or just
Okay.
like staying on the screen. I don't
Yeah.
say stay backstage. So as soon as we end, I play the sponsor reel.
Yeah.
Just let it end, and everybody should still be on.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was going to end it here at 10:30, but I'm going to do 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm gonna get off, and then I'll do the reel, and then I'll jump back on.
Okay. So yeah, that's my boss, the lovely, lovely Chris.
Seems
There's
like
like, there's so many Chris's. There's Chris Untamed, Chris Fatman Nation. What is it? The other one that you know?
about what?
The other Chris that you know?
Oh,
Your friend.
Pel's Peculiar Pets.
That's
Ooh.
my hubby. I'm talking about the other one.
Oh, Chris doesn't.
I know, but we
Will
just
and
know it's
Chris.
Chris.
Shout
We
out to
just-
Will and Chris. They're my
Yeah,
people.
that one. Yeah. Wow, there's like crazy. There's so many. It's
Yeah,
like there's so
common
many
name.
like cats. Yeah.
It's a very common name.
Yeah. Okay, last question. If you yourself were a tarantula, what tarantula would you be?
We already did that one, so I would do. You can go for ladies first. Come on, Junior. Messing with the GBB. Sorry, but you want to go first, babe?
I would be honestly. I would probably be like a Goliath bird eater.
Ooh,
And
why?
the reason I feel that way is because I feel like Goliath bird eaters are like me, like just really like intimidating on the outside, but on the inside they're just like warm and fuzzy
I could see that.
and
Maybe soft and skittish.
soft and skittish.
Okay.
Yo, but I think Goliath bird eaters are like, they look really cool. And
Yeah.
I grew up like what we talked about earlier, like watching Animal Planet, Discovery Channel, and I remember seeing them on TV, and I was like, yo, like these, like this isn't even real. And the fact that we have one literally in our living room,
Yeah.
is crazy. And that one I'm the most fascinated by, just because of how big it is.
It's
but
a spectacle.
it's just like quiet, out the way,
Yeah.
very demure, very mindful. So I would say I'll probably be one of them.
Okay.
Specifically a Theraphosa blondie. Okay, keep going.
Ooh.
Tarantula, personality wise, I would say I'm probably a curly hair, to be honest with you.
What?
I'm very chill. I'm very mellow. I generally don't really want to be bothered. But I like people. I can hang out, but my social battery is low. But if I get stressed out or pushed, I'm gonna be flicking them hairs. You best believe. Just
True.
combat dandruff.
Yeah. All right. Everybody in the comments, write down right now. You got a few minutes. What tarantula would you be?
Yeah.
Ooh, I wanna see it.
I see mine.
Okay, Junior.
I would be, I don't know, it's kind of a no-brainer. Gramostella pulchra, the Brazilian black lab.
Oh,
But-
nice.
But I would want to be a trapdoor.
A trap. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Because they're very sneaky, and like you would never see it coming. Like
Wait. What are you trying to say, Kat?
like when do you have a trapdoor?
No. Well, no, we don't.
Okay, so when you have a trapdoor and you feed it, you never know where it's gonna come out. It literally just like pops out and grabs the food. You never see it coming. It's that like it's a surprise.
I would say our P. Arminia, the sun tiger, is the closest thing to a trapdoor we have, because the only thing we see of her are her two toes sticking out of the top of her funnel, and then you stick something there, and then it's just gone.
Okay. All right. So
But
let's
that's
check. Huh?
No, I was just saying that's funny.
Yeah. Okay. Let's check the chat. Chris said, "I love the jumping spider," and he also loves the Brazilian jewel. Not a tarantula, but I'm gonna go with something. Ooh, and the little belly
So
penis.
Chris is a trapdoor too.
Yeah, my hubby knows what he's talking about. Okay.
Y'all are twinsies.
Yeah.
Her.
What did Jewel say? Oh, she loves jumping spiders. I can see
Jumping
that.
spiders are very
They're so
cool.
cute. They are so
I only want a
cute.
couple of them at any given time, though.
Okay, did you guys know that jumping spiders have the same, even though they're tiny, they have the same brain capacity as dogs?
I believe it for sure.
I mean, they're smart. They're really
Yes.
smart.
Yes.
They're very smart.
I would say tarantulas are a lot smarter than they're given credit for too.
For sure.
I just think that a jumping spider can see, so it expresses it differently. But I mean, have you ever seen a tarantula build or architect, or like, I don't know, I can see the gears turning in their own way. They're just blind, and they do their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, just with actual spiders, true spiders alone, with their webbing, it's just
Yeah, like you could not pay me to make a web. I would not be able to do it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So before we end this, I wanted to give a few shout outs to Juices Arthropods. I already said it. Caveman Reptiles, Kyle at Markin Reptiles. Oh my gosh. I promise I would get better at doing this because I tried to do it last week and I couldn't do it. But anyways, Megan, thanks out. Jules, Amy, Happy Basins. Oh my god, I can't.
You need to write this down.
Yes, I'm gonna have to write it all down. Epic Reptiles Jr., that's my boy. Sean Patterson at Hardcore Arachnids. Obviously, Kevin. Sugar Skulls. Keys, Elias, Lil Bro, Wiz. Yeah, Lace Balls. Lace, she's my girl. Yeah, it's just so many. So I want to thank everybody, especially in the comments. You guys have been. If you guys could have like medals or like
trophies,
I'll just like I'll be like Oprah. You get a trophy. You get a trophy.
Like the Oscars.
The Oscars.
Like
tarantula Oscars.
Yo, we should really do that one day. Like,
That's a good idea.
Like the Oscars
really
for the arachnid world.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That would
be awesome.
That would be really cool.
Yo, we host it in New York.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of us are based in the East Coast.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's like all on the East Coast or in California. And then you have
literally
some people in the elephant graveyard. We don't talk about that place.
Exactly. Yeah. In the Midwest.
Yeah. And those bonus states like Idaho.
Yeah, some random bitch Nushnik is in Nebraska talking about that he's got an OBT. We're like, okay, bye. No. No. So yeah, thank you for everyone for being on this episode. It's been a really fun episode. And what did you guys think of it?
That was awesome.
That was great.
This was really a lot of fun. Thank you for having us.
That was great.
Yes, thank you. I'm getting better at this, and I want to do more different things, and I have everything written down. So, shoot, fly.
We have
class too, man.
Same thing.
Summertime.
Yeah. Kat, you would do really well in journalism. You would do really well in journalism. You are a really great host. You made us feel very comfortable. You're very knowledgeable. You're a great listener. You're a dime, girl. You're a dime. You're just great.
Don't make me blush. Yeah. All right. Oh yes. Jules, for every end of the episode, she does amazing. She always writes down like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn off notifications so you don't miss out on Kat's next episode next Tuesday, which is going to be actually Tuesday, but it will be on Wednesday. So thank you, Jules, for that. Love you. And big blue heart to my hubby. Thank you. And yes, Chris, we are always honored to have you here. And big shout out to Chris because he has put this together. He gets us all here. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. So everyone, we'll see you next week. And Chris, take it away.
Lights come on, pulse in the air, we unite. Cold-blooded got 5 feet in the night. Cold-blooded caffeine, fueling the fight. Reptile crew got our backs tight. Thank you for keeping us all. CMB reptiles rolling with soul. Hold no soul, lifting a goal. Together we burn like burning coal. Elevate more fries in the show. Irresistible pythons letting it flow. Battery crew, yeah, but watch them go. Indigo, reptile coast, set the glow. Shut up feeders, we're shut up feeders. Under the rock with cold-blooded hitters. Ship your reptiles, make life better. South Bay reptiles through every weather. Blue tongue, shaman, blue tongue republic. Arc adventures, riding republic. No fakes, no breaks, we're here to publish. Taking it higher, dreams embellished. Sponsors love through beats, we ride.